Hey guys, I hope everyone's doing great. I'm Karasama Beats, and yeah, let's get to this beat breakdown. So, this is the main perk loop that inspired me to come up with this beat, and I pitched it up like 5 semitones, as you can see here, and chopped it up to make it sound like this. And then basically from here, I laid down the drums. So first, I just layered some snares. And then I did the kick. And then this is how I laid down the bass. The reason I kept those gaps in this bass line is because I wanted to add an 808 to fill this part up. So this is how it sounds with the 808. In this section, I used the triplet grid, and I made sure everything that fell on this section, it was all following this same pattern on the kick and also on the 808. In the hi-hats as well, I'm following the same pattern. So this is how the hi-hat sounds. Again, I just adjusted their places, shifted them a little bit here and there just to humanize it, and then did some velocity changes, as you can see here. And then we have this tom roll that is panned a little bit to the left, and this is a tom roll 2 that is panned to the right. This is how it sounds like. All the drums together sounds like. So for the kick, I just added a small boost at 1K, and then for the bass line, I just cut out some lows and then sidechained it with the kick. For the 808, I did a similar EQ, and then again another side chain. For the snare, just a simple EQ, and for the second one as well, just a little bit boost around this range in the presence. For the hi-hat, I just dipped a little bit of this frequency around 10K, added some reverb. And then for the tom rolls, the first one, again, cut out a little bit of that low end and the high end. And for the tom 2, I added this kind of EQ, cutting out the lows and added a little bit of reverb. For the perk, I did a similar kind of EQ, added some reverb and reduced the width of it. So that's all basically that's going for the drums. On the drum bus, I added a little bit of saturation, then added this EQ, added some glue compressor, and then just increased the gain by 5 decibels. So next, for the instrument bus, I used a tone snare perk. These are the notes, as you can see, in the same scale. And this is what's happening in the hook. For the verse, I just simplified it to this pattern. And yeah, I just EQ'd it, took out a lot of those lows and mids, added some echo with a ping pong style delay. And then for this low pad, this is how I laid it down. So it's overall, as you can see, it's just a C minor chord. And then I'm just keeping it consistent, just changing a few notes here and there. And here I just kept most of the mid frequencies, added some reverb. Then I layered this high pad with the low. The same notes, I just copy pasted it. Again, I just took out some of the high frequencies, added some delay, and then a little bit of the reverb. So this is how it sounds like both together. And then I added a bell sound just to make some counter melody. And this is how I laid it down. So here again, I just took out some of the highs and added some reverb. So altogether it sounds like this. Then for the verse section, I just kept this tone and then the low pad. And then for the second half of the verse, I removed the tone as well, just kept these two. And now for the effects, added this transition effect. And I just added reverb and I did nothing to it. And yeah, so in the instrument bus, I just added 5 dB of gain, just like I did on the drum bus. And then on the sides, I just added a little bit of high shelf. And I added a glue compressor just to glue them all together. And finally, I sidechained the whole instruments with the drum bus. So for the final mix bus, I have an SSL-G bus compressor with a 3 millisecond attack, auto release, and 2 to 1 ratio with a high pass filter at 100 hertz. And also the dry wet knob is at 50%. And then I have a utility plugin and I'm just monoing all the frequency from 70 hertz to below. And then there is this mid-side EQ, just taking out some of the lows from the mid signal and then clearing out some mud, adding some presence, and then a small boost in the highs. And then for the side signal, I'm just cutting out all the low end and just a slight boost in the highs. And then I have a Fab Filter multiband compressor, which is just controlling the low end and tightening it up with a medium attack and the medium release. And then I'm finally just taming the peaks with this clipper. And finally, I just added 1 dB of gain and added 10 dB in the limiter because the volume was quite low, and just tamed the peaks. And yeah, that's it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, until next time, see ya.